What up, world? Welcome to another BrandonJaneauShow, Wrestling Life. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, like always, on all podcast platforms everywhere. Brandon Janeau Show, social media platforms, Instagram threads, Brandon Janeau, Facebook, The Brandon Janeau Show, and of course, TikTok, Brandon Janeau Show. Really, where you go though? It's plain old, just a good old YouTube channel, Brandon Janeau Show. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Shout out to everybody that's been watching. It helps in the algorithms if you like the vids. Appreciate the views though, man. Appreciate it, but it would definitely help in the algorithm if you like the vids, like the shorts. Appreciate it, man. Go to the Brand New Show on YouTube channel. Subscribe, man. Like I said, social media platforms. Go subscribe. I got some clips out today from I Believe Sports. So yeah. Anyway, let's get into it, man. So like I said, this is wrestling life, and there's been a lot of things going on in wrestling life. I mean, a lot of shit going on, particularly in WWE. It's been a lot of shit. So I wrote stuff down, but I mean, I can talk about it a little bit in the episode. So it's gonna be a pretty long episode. I'm being honest, I can feel it. Let's start off with what happened last week. Let's start off with what happened last week, which is WWE um and ESPN merging together. WWE is officially going to ESPN. ESPN will be officially the place where you will now be able to see all of WWE's PLEs, Prime Live events, PLEs, um, starting next year's WrestleMania 42 in Vegas. So if you have Peacock, you still have it up until um, I'm assuming April of next year. I think that's when they're gonna do WrestleMania again in April. Um, excuse me, but yeah, that is pretty much the news that happened last week, and a lot of people lost their goddamn mind. I mean, a lot of people lost their goddamn mind over this decision. A lot of people immediately was like, "Oh my god, they're tearing the company apart. Here they go with this bullshit. TKO is ruining WWE. What the fuck are they doing?" Again, this is why I have to always say, never overreact to a fucking story that just happened. We did not even give it enough time, and we automatically started saying, this is derailing WWE, it's killing WWE, what the fuck are they doing? We didn't even properly give it enough time and respect to it. The decision has been made. Am I surprised? No, because I always thought WWE would eventually go to ESPN at some point. I didn't know when. I thought that people forget, like when Raw was being in negotiations to get moved from the USA Network. You know what the fuck the conversation really was? Is WWE going to ESPN? Is Raw going to ESPN? That was a massive thing that a lot of people thought would be happening. So I'm not too surprised that at some point, and you got to also remember Nick Khan, who is now one of the spearheads of TKO WWE. He pretty much took Vince McMahon's spot. Nick Khan used to work for ESPN. He used to work for ESPN. So this isn't too surprising. This is why WWE has kind of been featured a little bit more and more on ESPN. Um, ESPN is already becoming more. Listen, man. Like I said, I don't really watch ESPN like I used to when I was a kid. I used to watch all the damn time. It was literally one of my favorite things to do when I was a child. It was literally one of my favorite pastimes, just getting up in the morning before I had to go to school, catching up on some baseball, basketball or football, come home and watch 3:30 window on WB. It'd be Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, and then it switched to like syndicated shows like the Hughleys and One on One and stuff like that, like a Steve Harvey show or something like that, Bernie Mac show or something. And then, about 5 o'clock, that's when Sports Center will be back on TV. I'll go turn on Sports Center, watch that for up until like maybe 6 when they had, maybe a Big East game, or if it was, summer, it was baseball. And if it was last night, it was Raw at 8 o'clock at night. So I'll be watching Raw at like 7 o'clock at night, getting ready for Raw at 7 to 9. So that was my whole childhood. So I have no problems with ESPN doing what WWE doing what they're doing with ESPN, because at the end of the day, people are going to always get in their feelings over decisions like this, especially when you tell people that you're going in their pockets even fucking more. You're going in their pockets even fucking more. But again, people are not paying attention to what it is. And the underlining thing is, if you have cable, DirecTV, YouTube channel. So if you have YouTube TV, you're good. You're good. If you got Comcast, DirecTV, any of those networks, any of those satellite providers, you're good. It's just people like me that might have to pay the $30 for the next couple months, for months, to watch, PLEs. Now, I'm gonna try to find a way, but I'm cool with dishing the 30 if I can get rid of the Peacock network, because I used to watch it a lot, Peacock network a lot. I might keep Peacock. I mean, it's not too crazy, but they are raising the price on Peacock, like all of these apps are. All of these apps are raising their price up because there's a lot of people that's now switching from, cable outlets to these apps, HBO Max and all these other places. So I'm not surprised that a lot of these places are starting to kind of move up their prices, because a lot of people are now going to their apps and going to and subscribing to apps a lot more. So my feeling on this is this, man. Do I believe that WWE and TKO and ESPN is a bad marriage? Fuck no. I don't think it's a bad marriage at all. I think ESPN is not stupid. They see the iron is hot with WWE. You still are going to have a Roman Reigns. You're still going to have a Seth Rollins. You're going to have a CM Punk. And then on top of that, you just, WWE TKO particularly, just moved your main objective of the fight scene, which is the UFC. They just completely moved that off of ESPN. So I can definitely see WWE becoming more than just PLEs on ESPN. I can see WWE having an actual show on ESPN at some point. I can see it. I can see WWE being on ESPN. I don't know if you're gonna have a podcast or something like that, but you're gonna have a show on WWE on ESPN from the WWE. It might be unscripted. It might be real. I mean, you have certain people like Peter Rosenberg, who's also on Hot 97. But Peter Rosenberg could be the spearhead of the WWE talk show on their network, because this is another damn thing that WWE can actually do. And then on top of that, you're putting it on ESPN. Let's say, they do the Raw recap and they're doing podcasts. WWE is now officially, doing podcasts. So I can definitely see WWE, maybe not particularly next year, but maybe next year, around this time next year, not like an Unreal, but more so like a WWE show where it's like Peter Rosenberg and he's interviewing fans of wrestling and maybe even the wrestlers, and it's a real thing, and you have actual WWE people like Byron Saxton and Kathy Kelly and all of them. I can see that. I can actually see WWE doing a show like that. I can see it. Maybe WWE recap or something out the WWE, recap, or WWE. They have done so many damn WWE recaps and shit like that. But WWE roundtable, something. They're gonna do something, because you got to realize ESPN is losing the UFC, which is some of their marketing. So if you're losing the UFC and you're losing the shows, you're losing pretty much some of their podcasts, stuff like that. I mean, they're still gonna be invested in it, but I can see former wrestlers being a part of that show, like The Undertaker, like Stone Cold. Maybe Stone Cold might bring back the Broken Skull sessions if they pay him enough money. Like, I can see that being a part of it. So that's why I say the decision is not bad, because I think ESPN and WWE are going to make a pretty good damn marriage for at least a couple of years. And then on top of that, by the end of this, they're saying it starts next year. So they're saying it's a 5-year deal. So 2031 would be the end. SmackDown will be on ESPN by the end of that. SmackDown's contract, I think, ends in 2029 on USA Network. So that's 4 years. SmackDown's going to be on ESPN. SmackDown's going to be on ESPN. Because I'm thinking about it. What does ESPN have on Fridays that makes you want to tune in outside of the NBA? Hmm. Hmm. I can see. This sounds crazy. I think SmackDown moves to ESPN before it's all said and done. I think Friday Night SmackDown moves to ESPN. I mean, yeah, ESPN. And I think you move it back to Thursday. I think if you move, because ESPN now is in bed with the SEC, and they rarely have SEC games on Thursday nights. So I can definitely see ESPN, and then you have enough ESPN leeway where it doesn't have to be on ESPN. It could be on ESPN 2 one week. It could be on this. It could be on that, and it would easily make sense of it. So yeah, I'm not like everybody else is like just so like, oh my god, you saw the money and you freaked the fuck out. Like every time we do things like this, something like this happens and you freak the fuck out. Oh my god, I can't believe they would do something like this. It's like, bro, it's a fucking company. WWE is not the mom and pop shop anymore. It is a fucking entity that is beyond what even Vince McMahon probably even thought it would be. It has increasingly went past what you thought it would be. And that's just the facts. Which brings me to this. WWE has been in a very, very interesting, hard, conflicted spot. I don't know what the fuck the WWE is doing booking wise. So and I feel this way because of Friday. Like I say, Friday Night SmackDown is it's not a great watch. Like I said, people that complain about the 3 hours, you're going to miss those 3 hours when it goes back to 2 hours. And right now, I kind of miss them 3 hours. Reason why I say that is because all of the shit you couldn't do in 3 hours, now you have to do it in two, and it's fucking bad. SmackDown and Raw are now starting to become on the fly shows. You start to make matches on the fly, and I don't like it. Like at least I know if the week is coming in, I know at least two matches are officially scheduled. Great. Now last night was completely out of their hands because Naomi, uh, nobody knows really what's going on with her. Some people are speculating. I'm not. I'm waiting to see what's going to be. It doesn't sound like it's an injury, like an injury to me. Because if it was an injury, they would have had to come out. And now again, like I said, like maybe it is and maybe it's not. Who knows? But last night was completely out of your hands. You couldn't really do anything about Naomi and Io Sky because Naomi had to take a medical situation. That was completely out of your hands. And you figured it out on the fly. Congratulations. But WWE's booking for the most part has sucked. It sucked. And I tell you why I say that. Because Triple H believes that the long term storytelling is just gonna work itself out, and people are just gonna be like, okay, cool, that makes sense. And he doesn't know how to pivot in stories. He doesn't know how to pivot. And I know a lot of people gonna be like, yeah, he does. No, he doesn't. He doesn't know how to pivot. Explain to me why the fuck the Judgment Day is still a thing. Finn Balor has gotten worse as the story has progressed. He's gotten worse. Outside of Dom and Roxanne Perez, do you really care about Raquel Rodriguez? Do you care? Outside of and after Raquel, do you care about Finn? Not really, because he's got tag team titles and he's not scheduled to do shit on TV except just be backstage. Why the fuck is Dom always going out there with Finn with the girls? Why is Finn like why is Dom always going out with the girls and why is the girls always going out with Dom? Where the fuck are you, Finn and JD? And JD McDonough has just become a fucking whatever, dude. Like it's to the point where it's just a terrible situation. And I get that Raw just doesn't have tag teams, and I get that, but fucking hey, dude, like the long term story booking in WWE is starting to have a massive fucking problem because, and again, Triple H comes from a faction, so he treats factions a little bit differently than he treats anything else. He comes from a faction. DX. DX catapulted Triple H's career so much more than he probably ever would have gotten it by himself at first. It comes from a faction. So he treats factions way different than he treats tag teams. He treats factions way different than he treats tag teams. Now I'm seeing a lot of people be like, oh my God, I'm so sick and tired of MFTs, Solo Sikoa and his group. Bruh, I've literally said this when this shit happened. And it's funny because I saw literally a old episode I did like 2 years ago. And I was talking about how pretty much the whole bloodline situation was going to happen. Everything that happened in the bloodline situation fucking happened. Solo took the Ulafala. Solo was building his own group and all that other shit. I said all of that shit. That's funny that the clip came back. But now that we have officially looked at the MFTs, they have nothing. They have no idea. They have nothing. They have done nothing with that group. That group sucks. It's terrible. You need to get rid of it. What you wanted, you got, which was Solo as the guy in front of the group. The problem is Solo is not a leader. He's not. Solo's not a leader. He's not a leader, dude. He's a character, and that's great. Nothing's wrong with being a character, but like I've said numerous times, when the bell rings, I'm not interested in watching Solo fucking wrestle. I don't give a shit about Solo wrestling. Same thing with and now you got Solo in a situation with Sami Zayn. What the fuck does Sami Zayn and Solo got to do with each other? Outside of Sami Zayn beating Solo on Friday Night SmackDown, and he got his revenge last night. Outside of what the past of the bloodline was, they have no reason to be against each other at this moment. But you have nothing to do with Sammy. Sammy's in such a fucked up situation because you have no idea what to do with him. And this is why I kept saying, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but this is why I kept saying the worst thing you could have done is put Sammy in a storyline with a man that's fucking leaving the company. It doesn't make sense because you're trying to make Sammy into this underdog, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like, oh shit, this shit just doesn't make sense. Are you moving Sammy to Friday Night SmackDown? Because that's the only other fucking option I can make. Triple H has booked long-term stories in factions, and he doesn't know when it's time to let go of the factions. Judgment Day should be over. You're waiting for Liv to come back. I don't care if Liv comes back. The Judgment Day needs to fucking end. You got what you wanted. Dime is over. Dime is hot. Dime got it. Great. Before you fuck up Roxanne's career. Get her the fuck out that storyline. I do not care about Roxanne being a part of Judgment Day. She is a star on her fucking own. She don't need the Judgment Day. I said this last goddamn week. I'll say it again. She don't need the Judgment Day. She don't need it. Y'all are just forcing this girl into this storyline, and this is the problem I got with WWE booking. Triple H does not know how to pivot. And last night you had Jey Uso get added into a title match. Now, I personally understand why you did it, because everybody that Seth Rollins is going up against are former champions or people that have actually, had a chance to be world heavyweight champions. CM Punk was a champion. Jay was a champion. LA Knight had a title match against Seth Rollins. They got interrupted. But me personally, I wouldn't have done a fatal fucking four-way. You are trying to now just escape the situation of CM Punk getting pinned. And that's cool. You're trying to prolong the CM Punk. And again, this is going into maybe War Games, but I fucking saw this coming. Like, his booking has become predictable now. I never thought Roman was going to be in the fatal four-way. Who the fuck thinks that's a good idea? Put Roman in the fatal four-way? Why? Especially if he's not going to fucking win. What would be the point? But Jay being in it doesn't make sense either. Except if he's just going to take the pin. But Triple H, again, this is what is the stupid part about Triple H sometimes with the booking. Sometimes he gets the person to take the pin, and it's the wrong fucking person to take the fucking pin. Jay should definitely take the pin. Jay should obviously take the pin. If Jay's in this storyline and he's not the one that takes the pin, if LA Knight and CM Punk take the pin in this title match and it's not Jay, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm just, what are you doing? These stories need to die, which brings me to what I've been saying, and I see a lot of people saying it. WWE needs a draft. I've been saying this shit for weeks. WWE needs a fucking draft. And I saw Mike, All the Sports Net, talk about this. I've been saying this for weeks. He said it today on his show, but I've been saying this for weeks. If you look at the SmackDown tag team division, it's the fucking cream of the fucking crop of tag teams in WWE. Shit, fuck that. In professional wrestling, it's the cream. I don't know. TNA got some tag teams, but AEW just go ahead and put that shit to bed. It's not even close. It like AEW, no. But if you're talking about professional wrestling, I think WWE SmackDown tag team division is the best fucking tag team division you could have asked for. But then you look at Raw's tag team division, and it's literally non-fucking existent. You literally have you have tag team titles, and you should have just had just one tag team title. And have just like the women's tag team titles. They can go to whatever show they felt like going to. And to this point right now, I think that might be the best decision. Because just get rid of the world tag team titles on Raw and have one tag team titles. And have it called, and you can call that shit the WWE World Tag Team titles or whatever the fuck you want, the WWE Tag Team titles. It doesn't need to be on two separate brands. And I hate that shit. But Raw is so fucking piss poor with tag teams. It might make sense to just get rid of the tag team titles on Raw and just have one big ass tag team division and go get it. Because that makes way more sense. And then on top of that, you just technically broke up a tag team, which I'm not opposed to it. I don't give a shit about it because I'm not a fan of neither one of those guys. But you did just break up Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, which was a tag team. So you literally just got rid of another tag team on Monday Night Raw and did not replace them. Like, so right now on Monday Night Raw, it's the Judgment Day who's the tag team champions, the New Day, the Creed brothers, LWO. That's it. By the way, where the fuck is Otis? Where is Otis? Otis just disappeared. Like, Nobody said this. Yo, you got Tozawa and you got Maxine Dupree and now you got Natalia. Bro, what the fuck is Otis? Otis got taken out like the week after WrestleMania. Does he have an injury that we don't know about? Is he? You're releasing people. Clearly, people's contracts are coming up. Is he released? Does he have an injury we don't know about? What the fuck happened to Otis? He just disappeared. Like no, you don't. A 330-some-pound man just disappeared off of TV, and nobody has said shit about it. Like Otis is gone. Like nobody has said shit about Otis. Otis is just gone. So technically, you don't even have a tag. You don't even have that as a tag team. Like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Like, yo, man, listen. Raw has literally 3 tag teams. 4. You have 4 tag teams on Raw? Are you fucking kidding me? The LWO, the New Day, the Creed Brothers, and then you have Otis. I mean, not Otis. In the Judgment Day. 4 tag teams for a tag team division. That's it. Whereas you look at SmackDown, they have multiple tag teams. This is why I keep saying you could just move somebody. It doesn't take that fucking hard. You don't even need a draft for that shit. You can just move people to Raw. Like you don't even need a draft. You can move Andrade and Ray Phoenix. And like I said, my plan was very simple. Have Andrade take over the LWO, turn them heel, and have Penta and Ray Phoenix team up. Lucha Brothers. Boom. Now you got tag teams out the ass. And then move one of the move, either DIY, I think DIY, but if you move DIY or the Motor City Machine Guns, which if you move Motor City Machine Guns to Raw, that would actually give them more of an opportunity to be highlighted because them being on SmackDown does not work for them. Them being on Raw with AJ Styles and that TNA connection, bro, they can do something with that before AJ Styles leaves and retires. But the tag team division on Raw, you have 4 tag teams. When you break it down, you have 4 fucking tag teams on Raw. That is crazy. Like I said, Otis just disappeared. I don't know what the fuck happened to Otis. Otis just completely and utterly disappeared. Like nobody is saying this shit. I knew Rusev took him out. But bro, that was in April. Like, nigga, that was in April. We're in August. He just disappeared? The fuck is going on? Like, yo, man, yeah, man. Does he have an injury we don't know about? Like, what is going on? Nobody said nothing. Nothing. Y'all don't find that strange? Y'all don't find that strange? Otis just disappeared. Like a 300-some-pound man just fucking disappeared off of TV. And you can sit down and say, well, he's got an injury angle with Rusev. Bro, it's been 3 fucking months and we haven't heard a peep. You know somebody that's hurt. Even Naomi wasn't medically cleared last night. You could at least got something. There was a press release. I haven't heard shit about Otis. Have you? This man's been gone since April. we're in August and nothing's been said. Like that shit is crazy to me. That's fucking nuts. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. You can move Jimmy back to Raw and have him team up with Jay. Because if Jay takes the pin, Jay's out of the title picture. So what the fuck do you do with Jay? Because there's nothing you can do with Jay. That's why I say Jay has to take the pin. Because there's nothing to do with Jay after he loses in this Clash of Paris match. Now you could do something stupid and have Punk or LA Knight take the pin, which would be very dumb. But I wouldn't do that. And as bad as it is on Raw for the tag team, it's worse for the women on SmackDown because I have no idea what the fuck you do with the SmackDown women. You have Julia with a title and Tiffany with a title, and they have no opponents. You have Julia with a title and Tiffany with a title, and they have no fucking opponents. At least on Raw, you have opponents. You don't know how to maneuver it. On SmackDown, you have all those women, no opponents. Chelsea Green should probably go after Tiffany because it would make fucking sense to. Jade is in this middle of the road shit, where they don't know really what to do with Jade. Charlotte and Alexa are tag team champions. Kiana James is now representing Julia, I guess, which takes her off the board. B-Fab is back with the Street Profits. it's like, and she was with Michin, and now she's back with the Street Profits. Like, oh, we just completely forgot that. Like, she was with Michin for like 3 months when the Street Profits was the tag team champions. She wasn't even with the Street Profits, and then just out of nowhere, hey, she's back with the Street Profits. Nobody asked what the fuck, what happened? Why were you not with them with the entire title run? Nobody asked that question. Nobody. No, that never crossed anybody's mind that the Street Profits won the tag team belts and just had nobody with them. That B-Fab wasn't even with them. And then they lose the belts, and now B-Fab is back with them. I know they did a little story angle backstage, kind of, to explain it a little bit. But my nigga, I need more than just, oh yeah, what's up? What shit? I remember we were supposed to be a thing. The fuck? What? They brought them at SummerSlam to help and shit. I'm like, what is happening? Like, the fuck? Like 3 months of TV was just her not even being with them. She wasn't even out on TV with them. She wasn't nowhere near them. She was in a whole fucking storyline with Michin and the fucking Secret Service. Like, what happened? Bro, like WWE just thinks we're fucking stupid. Like, we're just not even asking questions. Nobody's asking questions. When the fuck did B-Fab and Street Profits get cool again? They just ended up back together. Like, what the fuck is going on? They have no idea what to do with those women titles on SmackDown. They have no clue. This is why I kept saying, bro, at some point, you have to move these women up. NXT is filled with incredible women that you can move the fuck up. But you don't want to do it. I don't know what it is. Jordan Grace should not be in fucking NXT. Now, if she's going to have, they need to speed this rivalry up with her and Blake Moreau. She needs to be on SmackDown. Nia Jax is going to be on NXT for a minute because of Last Legend. You could have had that match on fucking SmackDown. Last Legend could have been on SmackDown. What are we doing? This is the problem I got with WWE. It's like, bro, you cannot sit there and tell me this makes any logical fucking sense at this point. Because you have the women that can replenish the SmackDown women's roster, and you're choosing to fucking ignore it. You're choosing to ignore it. It's one thing to act like, to be like, I don't have it. Like the Raw tag team division. You just don't have enough tag teams over there. So I get why the New Day's Judgment Day is not defending the belts. Because if they beat everybody, they beat everybody. If they beat the LWO again, if they beat the Creed brothers, if they beat the New Day, you just ran through all the tag teams. You have no tag teams. On SmackDown, you have the women, and none of them are believable. To beat Tiffany or even Julia, they're not believable. You got all of your star power on Raw. And it's clear as day that you're not going to move Bayley if she's turning heel. So it doesn't make sense to move her. Or does it? I think it makes actually more sense now to move her. But what is Tiffany? What is Julia's a heel? What is Tiffany? She's a tweener. She's not really a heel. She's not. I mean, she's getting more heel reactions now. But what is she? Jade's about to go heel. Bianca's off TV. What are we doing? And Michin and B-Fab are not fucking worthy challengers at this moment. So what the fuck are we doing? Chelsea Green is the only one. Like I said, Chelsea Green is the only one that can go against both champions, and it would make logical sense. And you just, like I said, you just literally killed two potential situations, which is Alexa Bliss going after Tiffany because now she's in a tag team with Charlotte, and Charlotte can't go after Julia because she's in a tag team with Tiffany. I mean, with Alexa. It just doesn't make sense. WWE needs a fucking draft, bro. They need to get rid of this dumbass decision because you're clearly cool with moving people from brand to brand. You're just not explaining why the fuck they're being moved. Don't give me this bullshit that Sami Zayn is from Montreal and that's why he fought solo. You had no Jacob on TV last week. You had no Jimmy on TV last week. You had no Jay on TV last week. You had literally none of them were on TV. And now I'm supposed to just believe all of this shit. But I tell y'all this, it sounds so stupid. Here's the thing also that people are not also understanding. If Cody and Drew fight each other, Cody's going to take a break because he got to go shoot Street Fighter. Who's Drew going up against? If the plan is for John Cena to fight Brock Lesnar at some point, which seems like it's going to happen sooner rather than later, and if this is true, that they're going to probably bring in another WWE PLE, which is Bad Blood, which would make sense because, I mean, the story angle, the storyline of John Cena and Brock Lesnar, they do have bad blood. I don't know if you're going to do another Hell in a Cell match because now you're just doing another Hell in a Cell match to make it, an annual thing. But you have two situations that could have been Hell in a Cell matches. You could have the John Cena and Brock Lesnar one, which makes sense. But then you got the Punk and Seth one, which is why I say you can't have Punk lose to Seth by getting the pin, because that makes more sense to have Punk and Seth in a Hell in a Cell match. But Punk a year ago was already in a Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood against Drew McIntyre. But if this is the point, after Cody's gone, Drew's gonna continue to feud with fucking Randy Orton. Is Drew gonna have problems with John Cena? Which brings me to what the fuck is gonna happen on SmackDown? Because they have nothing. This is what I'm keep saying. Are you moving Jacob Fatu up to the main roster? You also just lost Damian Priest because he's hurt right now. So what the fuck are we doing? You need a draft, bro. I'm not saying you can't move some of your mid carders on Raw. It would actually make sense if you did. But this is why I said Gunther needs to move to Raw. Move to SmackDown. Gunther needs to move to SmackDown. You have Gunther, he can move to SmackDown. You got plenty of other people on Raw that you can easily move to SmackDown. Sami Zayn can move back to SmackDown. And if he wins the Royal Rumble, which I don't think that's a good idea, but if he wins the Royal Rumble, then you can move him back to Raw to go against Seth Rollins. Who cares? But it just right now, this is stupid. WWE needs a fucking draft. All of their biggest talents are on fucking Raw right now. Look at SmackDown. They have nothing. Like I said about SmackDown, their mid card is a little bit better than Raw's. But now you're putting back Carmelo Hayes with the Miz. Why? Yeah, I don't get it. Like I said, John Cena is of course on his final tour. And this past Friday, it was official that it's gonna be John Cena versus Logan Paul in Paris. Cool. Everybody knows John Cena and Logan Paul at some point was gonna wrestle each other. It's not that surprising. I'm not shocked by that. Do I care about this match? No, I don't. I don't give a shit about this match. Me and my brother Ryan Gray had a we kind of said what was going to happen, and it happened on Friday Night SmackDown, which was Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul versus Cody and John Cena. It just happened on Friday night. And I get why you did it, so you could do the singles match of Cody and Drew and John and Logan. But this is another thing that people are not understanding. Logan Paul's on Raw. Logan Paul's a Raw guy. He moved to Raw. So why the fuck is he on SmackDown? This is the problem I got with WWE right now. Because this shit don't make logical fucking sense. It doesn't make. Why the fuck is Logan Paul on SmackDown? When he moved to Raw, he moved to Raw. So you just moved him back to SmackDown? What sense does that fucking make? Oh my god, yeah, that didn't make any sense. Am I looking forward to this match? Not really. Do I care about this match? Not really. Is it gonna be good? It's gonna be good, which is the crazy part. Because Logan Paul can fucking wrestle. And John Cena works better as a face. It's gonna be good. It's not gonna be bad. But I can also see Brock Lesnar coming out of nowhere and fucking up John Cena. I just don't think it happens in Paris. I don't think they're gonna fly fucking Brock Lesnar to Paris. But I can see the next SmackDown they build towards maybe Bad Blood. They cool. Which brings me to the last topic, which is Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross got I don't say released because he didn't get released. He his contract expired. Him and his wife Scarlett's contract expired. This past weekend he put out a documentary. I haven't seen it, haven't watched it yet. Social media is a hard place, especially in wrestling, because we know so much now of wrestling. We can tell what's a storyline angle and what's a work and what's true and what's not. And that's not actual truth. And WWE now has become such a synonymous thing with trying to make people look like fucking idiots. WWE's tried their hardest to now make journalists and people look like complete and utter fucking idiots, that it kind of hurts them in a sense. It hurts them in a sense. And a lot of people would never say it hurts them in a sense, because WWE does not understand that, yes, even though you have, Karrion Kross in this situation, I don't think this should be a work, because it's very fucking stupid if it is. It is. That would be the dumbest thing to do for WWE, is if you made this a work. And I explained to y'all why I say that. Because you're playing with your fans' intelligence. You're playing with your fans' intelligence. So you're telling us that, and this goes back to what happened with the Ryan Killings, the R-Truth situation, which was completely and utterly out of their control. That we want truth shit came out of nowhere. Once he opened up that can of worms on social media that day, from that day forward, WWE knew they fucked up. Do I think it's a good idea for them to do this time around with Karrion Kross? No, I do not. I think it's very stupid if you did it. The reason why I say that again is because you cannot sit here and tell me that it makes sense to trick your fans into believing you got rid of somebody that they actually deem worthy of getting signed. That's very stupid. Now, this is why I say I don't want it to be a work, particularly for Karrion Kross. Because if this is a work, you're playing with the fans' emotions too. These fans think you left the company, that these people don't care about you, that they heard these people scream, "We want Kross, we want Kross," and then they turned around and still let you walk out the door. You and your wife. and they don't give a fuck about y'all. But yet you were in cahoots with these motherfuckers. You were cool with it, with them using your actual real life situation just to get a story out you. That's very stupid. This shouldn't be a work. If it is a work, if it's a work, man, I hope WWE and Karrion Kross are ready for the blowback. Because here's why I say also I don't want it to be a work, because I don't think people understand. Even if you bring Karrion Kross back, what the fuck does he do? What does he do? See, this is the thing that people don't understand. You said you wanted truth and you got truth. What has truth done since he's been back? You literally used him. You used truth to do a pipe bomb, the revert, the John Cena pipe bomb, because it literally was the same match you had when CM Punk cut his pipe bomb. All the way to the table angle when John Cena put CM Punk through the table. All of it was literally just to do a reverse pipe bomb. And then he's the reason for why um Damian Priest and Aleister Black are beefing. But now Damian Priest is off the fucking TV. Off TV. So it's just like, what the fuck are we doing? This we want somebody shit. I'm telling y'all now. Y'all are trying to strong arm WWE again. This may be a work. It might be. I hope it's not a work, because if it is a work and this shit does not it does not pan out the way you think it should, it's gonna be bad, man, for WWE. And I don't think people understand. And it's gonna be bad for Karrion Kross, because, like I've been saying, at some point he got to get in the ring. He's got to get in the ring. He's got to wrestle. And at the end of the day, I'm not paying you because your character is really cool. I'm paying you because the bell rings and I need you to go out there and put on a 20-minute match or a 10-minute match. And nobody cares once the bell rings about your matches. And that's a fucking problem. So, yes, could it be a work? It could definitely be a work. Do I want it to be a work? No. I don't want it to be a work. Because if it's a work and this shit doesn't pan out the way you think it is, you just paid him and his wife to come back to a company that they were never going to get over it. They were never going to be seen as the top guy and girl in regardless. So it doesn't make sense to have that be a work. But like I said, WWE saw what happened with the R-Truth thing, and maybe this is them trying to now capitalize on that with Karrion Kross. The problem is, again, this shit can end really bad. So keep that in mind. Anyway, this is it. This is the rest of life. I'm Brandon Janeau. Yeah. Peace.